everyone, it's Marie here from pepperlyrose.blogspot.com.au. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Australia, and I'd like to thank you all for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to make an A6 size treat pouch. Now Stampin' Up! Has a treat bag thinlet dies and I absolutely love it, but we can't use it for our A6 size card. So this is an A6 size card. I know you can't tell, but I'm using the Coffee Cafe bundle and the beautiful Coffee Break DSP pack for teacher gifts this year, and this is the card I've made for them. So I used the crimper on this one and the DSP pack there, and of course the framelets that go with it, and inside I have a Starbucks gift card. So it goes like this is what you get from Starbucks here in Australia. So this is what I'm giving the teachers this year, along with another gift which I'll show you another time how I made that. But basically I wanted to make them a little pouch that will house our A6 size cards. So I'm going to show you that, and today I'll be using the Mary Cafe stamp set along with the Coffee Cafe stamp set, the thinlets, and I'm also using the Ticket Tear Border Punch, and I'll show you how to make this pouch, and it's very, very, very simple. I'll just grab my bone folder. As I said before, I always forget something. Okay, so this is very simple. So I've got a piece of A4 cardstock. This is just our regular cardstock, and what we'll be doing is we're going to cut out a piece that's 10 inches. So I'll do that on camera. So I'll do that 10 inches from here. I'm not sure if you can see that. 10 inches. So I cut that much off, and we'll need this for later. 10 inches by 6 3/4. And along the 10-inch side, we're going to score at 4 3/4. Oh, oops. Oh, I meant score, not cut. See, don't make the same mistake I have. So I'll just grab another piece. Just bear with me. Okay, I'm back. So there you go. Don't make that same mistake that I have. So let's start this again. So we'll go 10 inches. I'll make sure I cut that right off properly. 10 inches by 6 3/4. And I'll just cut off that horrible bit there. 6 3/4. Okay, now keep the cutting blade right down the bottom here. So we'll use our scoring blade. Okay, and we're going to score at 4 3/4 inches and 9 1/2. Let's do that 9 1/2 there. And then on the 6 3/4 inch side, we're going to score at 0.5. I'm just going to use this side of the trimmer there. And just give that a quick score. And that is it. So we'll get rid of our trimmer. We will not need it again. So what we will do here is we're going to use some scissors, and we're going to have these ready, but I'm going to stamp all over this, but first of all I'll do some trimming. So what we will trim off here is this side. I don't think I did that straight, did I? I don't think I did. Hang on. Make sure it's butted right up. Yeah, I didn't do it straight. So it's 1/2 inch. Yeah, I didn't do it straight. So let me do that score again. And then this will be at the back anyway, so you won't see it. So, pardon-moi. Okay. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to trim off this bit here and this bit there. Okay, and we're going to just miter that in, that flap in and that flap in. So it looks like that. Okay, I'm going to cut up to the score line here, And then we're going to cut this bit off, right off. If you have longer blade scissors, you're better off using those. I do, but I forgot to bring them out, so I'm just going to use my paper snips. It does the job just as good. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to stamp all over this with the little coffee bean images here. Now, I've got the coffee break DSP, but unfortunately I don't have anything large enough that will allow me to for this size. So what I will do is I will start stamping all over this, and I'll just grab some spare paper so I can stamp off. And on one of these, actually, I'm going to trim off just a little hair off that before I do that. So where you fold here, I'm just going to trim off just that little bit right here. So I'll just grab my trimmer. And from this point down, I'm going to just trim off up until that little line that goes here. So I'll just do that very quickly. So I've got to make sure that I don't go past that line. Okay, and I think I've got it. So it's just a little hair that I trimmed off, just a tiny bit here. And I'll just snip that little bit off. Okay, and that's it. Oh, and I'll use the Ticket Tear border punch, and I'm going to start punching a little border on it. So it looks similar, very similar to the Stampin' Up one. So, oops, line that up. So it's like I'm casing the treat bag, the Thinlit die, but because Stampin' Up doesn't have for A6 card, I've got to improvise a little. So make sure I get that little middle part. So where is that little extra bit that I had there? Okay, and this will go a little bit into that area there, but that's okay. Oops, okay, now I'll keep trimming. I'm just going to punch that border. Oop. I'll punch that out there. Okay, you have a slight little area there, so I'll just do that now. Okay, so I've punched out my little border there. I'm going to now stamp all over this with early espresso, and there's those little coffee bean images there. So I'm just going to stamp all over that. So what I might do with this one is I am going to make this bit go faster. Okay, so I finished the stamping on this now. With another piece here, just with my scrap pieces now I've just cut out, I'm going to use this one. I'm going to stamp a cup of chia, just very basic in garden green, so it matches my card. and it is cheerful to have a cup of coffee all paid for by somebody else. I'm sure it is. Let's see if that will, I'll do it this way. So I'll just stamp that in garden green. Okay, so that turned out really cute. And I have to plug in my camera. So bear with me, please. I've got to plug this into the power as it's starting to run out. I thought I had plenty of battery, but I think my battery's on its way out. So bear with me and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I've just plugged in the camera. I'm very sorry about that. I thought I had it all organised, but obviously I didn't. Anywho, so I've just stamped out that sentiment, a cup of cheer, and I just stamped all over our little A6 size treat pouch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to burnish those score lines. I'm just going to fold and burnish everything. Got to be very careful now which score line I'm using, because there's a couple there that I did incorrectly. Oh yeah, and I forgot to miter these corners in too, so I'll just miter that in very quickly. Okay, so that's all done. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to put some adhesive on there. So I'm just going to put adhesive on this part here and this part over here. I'm just putting some fast fuse. You can use whatever you like. So we'll fold these in, okay, like so, and we'll just fold that right over. And so now we have our treat pouch all completed. Now there's a little bit here that I didn't take into account that's going to be sticking out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my scissors and trim off just a tad underneath. So just trim that off. Okay, and that is now complete. Isn't that cool? And I'll just stick in my, this is an A6 size card. This fits right in. I thought I'll let it stick out a little bit. Oh no, yep. You can see just a little bit so they know that they are to open it. So now we'll get on to some other stamping. Now I'm going to use the coffee break DSP. I've got some of this scrap left over and I'm going to use that to match the card here. So I'm just going to stamp that image from the Merry Cafe stamp set. I'm going to be cutting out this image and this image here. So with the cup I'm going to stamp that in Early Espresso on the actual DSP. So I'll just ink up my stamp in Early Espresso, which is what I said before. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. Okay, just stamp directly on. Okay, not sure if you can see that, but that's what that looks like. And then I am going to stamp on the same strip here, the lid from the Merry Cafe stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp that on here. And then I'm going to stamp this image here from the Coffee Cafe, which is like the little warmer part, or the little label part, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to stamp that one now in Early Espresso, and I'm going to stamp that over the cup of cheer. Now, so hopefully I can place that properly. And that's how that worked out. That turned out really nice. So I thought I'll keep it pretty simple and plain because, yeah, I don't want it to clash too much with this. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to trim off this DSP so it's not so tall. Keep your scraps because they come in very handy, and especially for little things like this. These are great. Okay, so what I'll grab now is my Big Shot And today I'll be using the magnetic platform with 2 cutting plates. Okay, so we'll try and put everything in the one pass, unless the magnets are working against me today. So I'll just bring out now my coffee cups framelits dies, and we're going to use the lid, the coffee warmer part, and the actual cup. Okay, and we'll just start positioning these framelits over the top of these images. Okay, just make sure that they're angled properly. Okay, and seems like I'm ready to go. Okay, just put my cutting plate on top, and now I'm going to crank that through. Okay, I'll take the big shot away. So this is cut out really beautifully. That's cut out very nicely, love it. And that's cut out very well too. That looks fantastic. Okay, pop that away. And I'm going to now stick all these elements down, and I'm going to use my fast fuse. So with this part here, I'm just going to put on a little bit just up the top there. Try not to get any on your surface, but I've got a little strip there of fast fuse, and I'm just going to put this on top. This matches a gift set that I've made, and I've actually covered a coffee cup with this, and then I'll just pop a little fast fuse on here, and I'll just position this where it should go. And that's my little a cup of chia. Okay, so I'll pop this in here. So as I said, these are for my kids' teachers this year. They're actually going to get a coffee cup, and inside I'll have some coffee candy or coffee chocolates, and Lindor balls, which are divine. And I'm just going to stick this on top, but it's kind of like lost with all that busyness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab I'll just grab my circle framelits, and I'll be right back, and we'll just finish this off very nicely. Okay, I'm back. I decided I'm going to use my stitch shape framelits, and I'm going to use my largest oval because I think that will finish it off nicely. So we'll be bringing up the big shot again, and I've got some early espresso cardstock. This is some scrap that I've used from some die cutting I've done before, and so I'm going to cut out this oval. So I'll just bring up my big shot and my magnetic platform, and I'll pop this in there. Oops. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. And so now have a beautiful stitch shaped oval. Looks beautiful, I love that. So I'll just bring back my pouch here, and we'll keep this flat, because the reason why I'm doing that is because I will be using this as part of a larger gift, and there's not enough room. So I've got here the oval, so I'm going to just stick that down with some fast fuse. I'll just put that back there. Okay, stick that in the middle. And of course you can change this up to suit you, so it doesn't have to be exactly how I do it. So now I'm just going to put some fast fuse on the back of the coffee cup. And now I'm just going to stick that on top. It doesn't exactly have to cover it, but this does the job. Just to break it up a little bit. So it looks like that. It actually looks like it's coming out. Kind of looks good, doesn't it? Out of that like hole. So anyway, and that's my little pouch. I hope you like it. It's an A6 size. So for those of us who are in Australia and in the UK and in Europe, you will find this very useful, no doubt. And I really love using the Ticket Tear Border Punch, the Merry Cafe stamp set and the Coffee Cafe. These two complement each other, as you're aware, very, very nicely. So I strongly suggest grabbing these. And the beautiful Coffee Break DSP pack and our lovely stitch shape framelits, which are multi-purpose and across many occasions and looks that you're after with your projects. All of these, we mustn't forget our lovely coffee cup framelits. All of these can be purchased through my online store at pepperlyrose.stampinup.net. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'm more than happy to help out. Have a wonderful day, and thank you all for your encouragement. And please press subscribe or like my video if you like what you saw today. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.